Hello again. So I am showing you guys some ingredients that I'm using for these delicious homemade granola bars. These come together really quickly and they're a family favorite. So I'm making two different kinds and I will show you guys. These are the ingredients for them. Some things I got from Trader Joe's and then others I got from Azure Standard. And speaking of Azure, I will also show you guys my latest Azure haul that I just got, which includes some of these basic ingredients for these granola bars, which is great. So from Azure, my husband's being silly over here with the cheese. I don't know why. I got these French fries and I just tried them tonight with our dinner and they were delicious and only have one ingredient, which is potatoes, I cannot find that in my stores. Also got that marinara, rolled oats. I get it in the big 25-pound bags because we go through it quite quickly. A couple cans of pizza sauce, cheese. I think I've showed this in previous hauls. It truly doesn't get better than this cheese, and I've tried different ones too. I got this mozzarella for pizza night and also some garlic that I plan on processing, like most of it. We'll get there one day, and then having some of it for fresh. And then, cane sugar, needed that as well. And I store the two big bags of things in big buckets, and I can show you guys that. I think I have a different video of that. And then I have loved getting bulk peanut butter. If you have children, or if you just love peanut butter, this is for you. And I use a ton of it because of these granola bar recipes. So today I've got Kai in the kitchen with me, and he is a big fan of these granola bars. He asks for them the second he wakes up in the morning. I'm not kidding. So of course he had to volunteer to help me out because he knew that he would be getting a couple of chocolate chips in the process and just get his hands on some of the ingredients. Okay, so I took the base of this recipe from one that I found on Pinterest, which is, I'll link it below. I think this girl is actually pretty famous. I don't follow her myself, but I found this recipe on Pinterest and tagged her one time on Instagram, and I think she's got quite a few followers. Anyways, she knows what she's doing because these granola bars are amazing. I just added my own flavor to them. And so I did switch them up a little bit, and I will put her link down below, but also just my recipe of what I did with these down below as well. Essentially, I did 2 cups of rolled oats, and then I did 1 cup of pulsed almonds, already sliced, and then a half a cup of honey. And I've never tried it with maple syrup, but the recipe that I got this from says maple syrup is fine as a substitute. And then 1 cup of peanut butter, as you saw, that I got from Azure Standard, 2 tablespoons of melted coconut oil, and a half a teaspoon of salt. So that's the base. And then I added the dried cherries and the chocolate chips. So I did about 3/4 a cup of the dried cherries and about a cup of chocolate chips. Just do whatever looks good. If you want only a couple of chocolate chips, go ahead. But honestly, this tastes so delicious with the chocolate chips, so I would not skip out on those. If anything, add more of the dried cherries. Those are so good. I love this combo. I think it tastes really good together. And then the other recipe of granola bars, so I did 2. The first one is chocolate chip cherry, as you see here, and then the other one is blueberries, so they're dried blueberries, and walnuts. Instead of the sliced almonds, I actually used walnuts instead. Also, here's a little tip. If you have a tiny baby cast iron, like you see I'm using right now, I always melt my butter or coconut oil or whatever the recipe calls for. I always melt it in those tiny ones because it seasons them, but they're also like the perfect size. I suppose you can do it in just like your regular size cast iron because that would also season it as well. But you know, it's just cute when you get to use the really tiny things in your kitchen sometimes. Like those really tiny crock pots, or no, what are they called? Dutch ovens. Those are adorable, but I truly don't know what people are using those for. But, anyways, that's just a random thought. So, anyways, you can see how quickly this recipe is already coming together. You just mix up the dry, mix up the wet, you know, just like a regular old, like a cookie mix almost, except for you're not even baking it. I push this into parchment paper, like into a casserole dish, as you're going to see very soon. And you'll see my little trick for it. And I use another piece of parchment paper to like smush it all down and like really get it all nice and flat. If you see that your mix is like a little bit too wet, like it doesn't look like the oats quite soaked up enough, just add another half a cup of oats. Mix that up and see how it goes. Sometimes I even add up to like another cup of oats just because I don't want it like soggy. I don't want like a crumbly and falling apart granola. I want more of like a firm one. So anyways, just play around with it. You truly cannot mess these up. They taste really great coming out of the fridge. And that's another thing. Definitely make sure that they chill for a little while before you try to cut them. That would just be a sticky mess. Yeah, so here I am like smishing it down, and then I just use that parchment paper on top to put it back in the fridge to kind of cover it up so nothing gross falls in it or whatever. But anyways, my husband and I will actually also eat these straight out of the freezer, and they're really good frozen too, which is great. You can make them like ahead of time, freeze them, and then put them in a lunch pail for lunches, or if you're going out or something, and they'll defrost in no time at all. And that's what we do. We have to put them in the freezer, or else we will just eat them all and they'll be gone. So, all right, so going back to the Azure Standard haul, the cool thing about these granola bars is that you can make them using all Azure ingredients. As you saw, I did get a couple things from Trader Joe's. Just I was there randomly, which actually I don't even go that often. I do love a good stroll through Trader Joe's, but I don't go too often anymore. But yeah, you can get everything off of Azure's website and in bulk, and most likely in organic as well, which is all a win. So if you find yourself making bulk things like snacks or bulk, whatever it is, dinners, breakfast, check out Azure and see what they have for you, because odds are you're going to be saving money and actually getting higher quality ingredients just ordering it from there and in bulk. That's what I've found for myself and our family. It just like works out. There are only a very select amount of things that I have found that are actually cheaper at like Costco or something. But for the majority of items, I have found just great success with Azure. And honestly, like most of the time, I barely even have to look at ingredients because I just trust it and I know that it's going to be good. So I guess that's just my little plug on Azure Standard. Again, I'll just put my link down below if you guys have never ordered from there. Definitely click on that. That would mean a lot to me if you used that. And got started. If you guys have questions, leave a comment down below about it and I'll get back to you about that. But I mean, that haul that you saw at the beginning of the video is pretty standard for me. Per month, we get like just general pantry staple items like that, just always restocking on something. I'm not the one to restock once a year, twice a year. I would love to do that one day. I would love to have like an entire prepper's pantry in my basement. I don't even have a basement. I would love to have one, but that's just not where we're at. And we can't just blow all this money on all of these types of ingredients all at once. And so that's why every single month we're kind of chipping away and just getting a little bit more, like that big coconut oil that you just saw. We usually buy 2 of those at a time. And so that'll last us, oh gosh, I think like 6 months or so. I don't know how the heck I go through it that fast. I do use it for lots of ingredients and I don't know, just our cooking oil and whatnot. But anyways, I am able to go through these ingredients fast. I don't do long-term storage as in years and years. I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about always having things on hand. And that's exactly what I use Azure for. And so anyways, I will stop talking about it, but it is great and my favorite. So here are these granola bars the next morning coming out of the fridge. And I just take them out. They come out so easily because of the parchment paper, which is great. And so I just use a long knife and just cut those up. And you'll see I kind of do like granola bar size, but for my kids, I actually even cut those in half or in thirds because these are pretty dense and rich. And so they just don't need an entire bar. They're a little bit too small for all of that. So these end up lasting us quite a while. I would say a batch like this, a good month. Oh man, that's really stretching it if we're not like just going ham on these things. Usually I've got other snacks in the freezer, and so this isn't the only snack that we're going to. But yeah, so I would say about a month these would last us. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.